All right. Welcome to this edition of How to Save Thousands of Dollars on Your Premium Quality Dream Card. Now, I would say Grail because I believe in multiple Grails, even though I know that goes against the definition. I also believe in multiple goats, a goat for each era, although really that's greatest of his time or her time as opposed to greatest of all time. So, why can't I have multiple grails? Why can't I have a 1941 play ball grail? Well, I do. Woohoo! And a 1952 Bowman grail, and a 1954 Topps grail, and a 1954 Red Heart grail, Like, I think I do. I think I do have all those things. But I know, I digress. It goes against the definition. Let's dive into this. Let me turn this camera around and show you. I'm going to go with kind of a lazy man's way, as you'll see here in just a moment. All right, so this is the lazy way rather than, doing some video editing. I just want to show you this listing now. This is the 41 play ball, Joe DiMaggio, number 71. It's a high number. It's a tough card. And it's got 118 watchers, and it has just under a day, 23 hours, 49 minutes to go. And there's a $40 shipping charge to the authenticator and then to you if you're the one that wins. I mean, hey, it's coming to you. It says that already. And then to you. You're lucky. So here it is. And the PSA price is roughly $4,400 or $4,450, something like that. Who knows, right? I think this will probably go higher because it's still got a day. There's 118 watchers. We're in this crazy market. This is actually a tough card. Tough in general because it's a high number, but also tough because there's a lot of demand. Also tough because it's condition sensitive. So, a really tough card. And in this hot market, who knows what this will go for. Let's say it goes for another grand, and then hits roughly $5,500. In a few minutes, I'm going to show you my DiMaggio, which I paid $2,396 for all in. That's, I'm in Oregon, so there's no sales tax when you buy online. So that's really nice. But the shipping was free, so that's my all-in price. Technically, $2,395.99. But let's just call it $2,396. With the $70 shipping, this is just about a grand more. I'm sorry, just about $2,000 more. Almost $2,000 more than what I spent, and I can virtually guarantee by the time this closes, it'll be $2,000 more than I spent, and actually, it would not surprise me at all if it's $3,000 more than I spent, more than double what I spent. Let's check it out up close and personal. It's a PSA 3.5 VG Plus. So what do we see here? Oh, let me go ahead and do this. This will be better, I think. What do we see here? Okay. I'm going to kind of show you mine as well, and we'll sort of try to compare and contrast. And then I'll just, move the computer and just show you mine. But we've got a little bit of corner wear. In fact, there's a little bit of paper, paper folding up there. I mean, to me, it doesn't, it's still got nice eye appeal for sure. Registration is off a bit, but not too, actually, that's a little bit troubling to me. The registration on mine, I think, is a little bit nicer. That's kind of borderline. I'd probably look for a little bit better registration myself because that's one of the things I'm really picky about. But, for this issue, it's not bad. Again, a little bit of corner wear. Color of the card looks pretty nice. Little bit off center top to bottom there. Let me just show the whole thing. A little bit off center, not too bad. Maybe a little bit cattywampus, but centering's pretty nice. Overall, pretty nice eye appeal. And again, let's just kind of go a little slowly. I tend to get spastic when I show cards on YouTube, so I'm going to try to train myself not to be that way. There's that little blue dot, but not much of it there. I actually kind of prefer it myself to be prominent just because I'm crazy, I guess. But there's the front. Now let's go ahead and look at the back. With the plastic back here, there's some glare. So the back looks great. Again, you can tell there's a little corner wear. Now notice this. Notice, looks like this was maybe stuck into something, or at least something was stuck on it up there in the corner. I don't see that on the other corners. Yeah, I think that's about it. But again, the back looks great to me. I don't see any wrinkles. 3.5, I guess it could theoretically have some little paper wrinkles. I don't see any. All right, so I'll try to leave this up here. Kind of compare it with mine that cost about $2,000 less. Again, the title of this video is How to Save Thousands on Your Dream Card. Let me bring this up. We'll show it in a couple different lightings. My card is sharper. My card has better registration. As far as the centering, I think they're about the same. Although I think I prefer the centering on mine a little bit, but they're probably about the same there overall. How about the back? Well, what brought this down to a 1.5 is it was stuck into an album. So let's just kind of see. But to me, it adds a little character and you don't even really see it. It's like it's nothing. So here's the deal. I'm going to make a statement. I'm not even sure it's that bold of a statement, actually. But the statement I'm going to make is that this copy right here of the 41 Play Ball Joe DiMaggio is actually more of a premium quality copy than that one, even though that's PSA, which a lot of people prefer to SGC. And to me, there's pros and cons to me either way in terms of the slab. I like a smaller slab where you can, store your cards more compactly, but I like the way, a lot of cards look with the black insert here. To me, I just want the best card. I understand PSA often costs more. There's a premium there. That's something to factor in when you're buying or selling. But, as far as I'm concerned, I'm kind of slab gnostic. I just want the best card for my bucks. But to me, this is more of a premium card. There's no wrinkles. Now, here's the deal. Before I bought the card, there could have been wrinkles, right? You don't always know when you're looking online, but there were some really nice picks, and SGC picks are really nice. Well, the SGC picks were better, but inspecting closely, it didn't seem like there were any wrinkles. But even if there had been some spider wrinkles that weren't through the face that did not detract from the eye appeal, that would not have bothered me. But to me, premium quality is not the number. It's not. Now, granted, if the number's high, like 7 or 8, it's almost always going to be of a higher quality than, a low grade. But when we're talking about 1.5, 3.5, the variance in graders, and I don't think they spend a lot of time looking at these cards. I'm going to go ahead and move. Oh, sorry about that. All right. I had the tripod stand. We're going to really look at this in some different lights here. I'm going to make the claim that this is premium quality compared to the listing that's going to end in less than a day that has 118 watchers and may very well end up costing twice as much as this, is already roughly a couple thousand more than I paid all in, and may very well be 3,000 more. So I'm going to make the claim that I have a card that is better quality. This is more premium quality than the card that is being sold online, and I save myself at least a couple $1,000, and we'll see what the final sales price is. So maybe when all is said and done, I'm trying to show you some angles here. Maybe I will have saved $3,000. And the point here is, not for me to brag about this claim that I'm making, which, you may or may not agree with. Although I am pretty proud of it. It was a matter of patience, and waiting, and a little bit of it was luck, right? Being in the right place at the right time and snapping up the buy it now before someone else did. But the reason I'm pointing all this out, we're going to go with a little different lighting now. Oh, look at that. Look how that makes the purple really pop. look at the purple popping and look at the pleasing purple popping people. Yeah, a preponderance of pleasing purple popping. Look at that. So my claim is that you can do this too. And maybe you've already done it. Now it's tougher. I will admit it's much tougher these days. It takes patience. It takes a little bit of luck and timing. I actually think eBay Buy It Nows are one of the places where you've got a shot, because it's somebody who has listed their card. Like this was listed at $23.95.99 with free shipping. And that's, you can find 1.5s that cost less, but they won't look anything like this. So it's somebody who listed their card and didn't realize, the amount of premium that it maybe arguably should get based on the quality, didn't realize the premium quality of what they had. So you can do this too. It's tougher, much tougher than it used to be. And I don't expect to do that with every card in my collection. But I do have several key cards where I've done this, I believe. I've gotten premium quality, not always saving thousands, but for a fraction of the price. And by the way, to me, this is one of the most epic cards on the planet. It always has been, even before I owned it. It's one that I've really, really wanted. It seems like either, Double D, vintage baseball cards, Dylan, he'll get one first. I'm like, oh man, Dylan, oh man, you're breaking my heart. I got to have that. Or maybe I'll get one first, like the 38 County Joe DiMaggio. He's like, oh man. So we inspire each other, right? We also cause each other to just be drooling uncontrollably as we long for these dream cards. So to me, this is one of the most important cards because it's so beautiful. It's Joe DiMaggio. The history here, the history. Joe DiMaggio was in a slump. The Yankees were in a slump. They didn't make it to the World Series in 1940 after winning it 4 years in a row. Things weren't looking so good for them. We're overcoming the Great Depression, but Joe DiMaggio had asked for the quote unquote big bucks. He wanted 40 grand. He eventually caved and took the 25 grand they were offering him. I think Colonel Rupert was offering him because the media was against him. Yankees management was against him. The people were against him. They were like, hey, we're coming out of the Great Depression, and they didn't expect ball players to make crazy sums more than your average Joe. Even if it was one of the best players, they didn't expect them to, make crazy multiples of what a typical person would. So there's just so much history. And then, his hitting streak captivating the nation. And the same year that Ted Williams, also in the American League, is, seeking to hit 400 in the epic way he closed out the season to do that. And Joe DiMaggio, married to Mary Magdalene, just a fascinating figure. And this dude, I still think he's underrated, undervalued. I mean, he was like the Michael Jordan of his day, the elegance. And, if you had DiMaggio, you thought you could win. And for the most part, you did win. And some would say, well, that's just because they were on the Yankees. But, I don't think that's the whole story by any means. So you too can get a premium quality dream card, and depending on the price of it, save thousands or maybe only spend half as much. Premium quality is subjective, right? Like a little bit of residue from this being stuck in an album. Does that make it a lesser quality than a card where the colors aren't as fresh? I think that's one of the reasons the color is really fresh here. Does that make it a lesser quality than a card that doesn't have as solid of registration? This is really great registration for this issue. Does that make it a lesser quality than, a card that is not as well centered as this? This is very nice centering. Sharp corners for the issue. A little something up there. I think it might even be from the factory. Just a little, a little chipping of the card surface, but I mean, that's nothing. well, you know, I was going to make a short video, and guess what I did? I made a long video. I'm pretty darn good at that. So yeah, would love to hear your comments below. If you've done this before, you feel like you have cards that, not just that you like the eye appeal. I'm talking about more here than just, you know, having great eye appeal at a low grade. I'm talking about the idea that this lower grade card is not just superior in eye appeal to so many higher grade cards, you know, even 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 grades higher. Not just superior eye appeal, but also truly superior quality, because there's a certain amount of subjectivity to quality, as I indicated, you know, is a little bit of residue on the back, the cardboard back, that's pretty, you know, pretty balanced and doesn't obscure or remove any of the paper that I think kind of adds character. Does that really make this lesser quality than, you know, a card with rounded corners or one with off registration, etc.? I mean, this thing, it's checking all the boxes, folks, all the boxes. It's clean, it's sharp, it's centered, it's vibrant, it's got fantastic registration at a fraction of the price of cards that aren't nearly as premium of quality. And I believe that there's still opportunities for all of us to do this, but it takes some patience. It takes some knowledge in terms of being able to really discern not only what you like, but, you know, what really makes a card pop. Now, part of that, of course, you know, if we've been collecting for a while, we just know, but this card just pops, man. This is a big time popping purple people pleaser right here. So yeah, that's what I have to say. Look at that beauty. I'm taking this to the National. I'm showing it to everybody. I'm going to keep showing it on videos, probably more. Not because, you know, in my humble opinion, I paid, you know, a few thousand less for a card that to me is much nicer than so many that go for more, but because I absolutely love the card. I love everything about it. I love it as vintage art. I love it as history. I love, you know, the story of Joe DiMaggio. Yeah, I love it. All right, let me turn this camera around. All right, everybody. Thank you for sharing in my joy. That was just kind of some free form flowing of thoughts, ideas. By the way, feel free to agree, disagree. You know, the only time I've deleted a few comments is when you can't always tell by, you know, online. But when someone disagreed, but they did so in a way that was just kind of condescending or something, you know, where it was kind of it was kind of obvious that they were just sort of being a jerk. Well, then I just delete their comment, right? But if they just disagree with me, that's fine, right? Like for example, if someone said, hey, I like that 3.5 you showed me better, that's fine. I'd like to hear it if you do. You know, I'd love to hear that because, you know, because we all have our views, our opinions. All right. Thank you for sharing in my joy. I hope you had a wonderful and peaceful time in the Vintage Sanctuary. Take care, my collecting brothers and sisters.